Dawn breaks over the rolling countryside of Oglethorpe County, Georgia, like a watercolor painting. Mist drapes the tall pines, water trickles softly into a man-made lake, and white fences lead the way into Beaver Dam Farms, the 973-acre retreat Kenny Rogers built with his own hands. Today, you're invited inside the true empire of Kenny Rogers, from his Georgia ranch to the story behind The Gambler and the lesser-known lows of his life. But first, let's rewind to the legendary career that brought him here. Born on August 21, 1938, in Houston, Texas, he was the son of a carpenter father and a nurse mother. Growing up in a public housing project, he learned early what hard work meant, holding down odd jobs for $9 a week while attending the University of Houston. Those humble roots would shape the plain-spoken authenticity that became his trademark on stage. By 1957, Rogers caught his first real break with That Crazy Feeling, a regional hit that hinted at his soulful voice. He sharpened his chops in small ensembles, first with the Bobby Doyle Three playing jazz, then with the folk group New Christy Minstrels, where he developed the versatility and stage discipline that would later define his solo career. By the mid-1960s, Rogers was ready to lead his own band. He formed Kenny Rogers and the First Edition, a psychedelic country rock outfit whose eclectic sound landed them hits like Just Dropped In to See What Condition My Condition Was In, later immortalized in the cult film The Big Lebowski, and Ruby, Don't Take Your Love to Town, a Vietnam-era ballad that cemented his reputation as a storyteller with grit and empathy. When Rogers launched his solo career in 1976, country radio and pop charts were ready for his gravelly warmth. Love Lifted Me opened the door, but it was Lucille in 1977 that went global, topping charts in 12 countries and earning him his first Grammy. Over the next several years, he strung together a run of platinum albums, blending Nashville instrumentation with pop hooks to create the blueprint for crossover country. His duets became just as iconic. With Dottie West, Rogers recorded classics like Every Time Two Fools Collide and Till I Can Make It on My Own, setting a new standard for male-female harmonies until West's tragic death in 1991. In the 1980s, he broadened his reach with Lady, written by Lionel Richie, We've Got Tonight, with Sheena Easton, and the Grammy-winning Make No Mistake She's Mine, with Ronnie Milsap. Each collaboration showcased a different facet of his voice, romantic, playful, or confessional, and made him one of the most recognized names in both country and pop. Even as trends shifted in the 1990s and 2000s, Rogers kept moving. He signed with Capitol, toured relentlessly, and in 2013 was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. His 50th anniversary tour became a victory lap of 5 decades on the road. In 2015, he announced The Gambler's Last Deal Tour, a farewell that concluded in 2017 with an all-star concert in Nashville, where he and Dolly Parton performed Islands in the Stream together one final time. From the boy in Houston's housing projects to a crossover country pop legend, Rogers exemplified reinvention and endurance. His songs traveled from honky-tonks to international stadiums, bridging generations and genres. And while his career built him a global audience, his private sanctuary in Georgia, the sprawling Beaver Dam Farms. Georgia Farm, the final chapter of The Gambler. Just 90 minutes from Atlanta and a short drive from Athens, Beaver Dam Farms rises out of Oglethorpe County like a mirage of southern grandeur. Spread across 973 acres, the ranch was Kenny Rogers' personal vision of a self-contained country paradise, part working farm, part retreat, and part showplace for his friends and fans. This wasn't just a vacation home, it was a statement about how The Gambler chose to live off stage. At the heart of the property stands the 11,000-square-foot main house, a sprawling residence that combines rustic southern architecture with resort-level amenities. Inside are 7 bedrooms and 6.5 baths, each framed by vaulted ceilings and drenched in natural light. The airy kitchen flows into a formal dining room large enough for extended family dinners or impromptu jam sessions with visiting musicians. A private gym and a fully equipped home theater complete the picture, while decor elements, stone accents, wood beams, and walls of windows, look out over manicured lawns and one of the property's shimmering lakes. Beyond the main residence, Rogers built an entire village for guests. 5 guest houses, chalets, and junior villas add up to about 20 bedrooms, each with its own private balcony and bathroom. He wanted visiting artists, friends, or corporate guests to have their own space without losing the communal feel of the ranch. The effect is like checking into a boutique resort designed by a country superstar. The real showstopper is the Equestrian Center, a 72,000-square-foot complex with 44 stalls, barns, and indoor riding arenas connected to miles of wooded trails. Dubbed a Southern Madison Square Garden for horses, it reflects Rogers's passion for equestrian sports and his flair for spectacle. This is where he hosted charity shows, private exhibitions, and events that combined country living with celebrity glitz. Nature was also a big part of the plan. 3 stocked fishing lakes offer quiet mornings on the water, while a lakeside clubhouse gives guests a place to unwind after casting their lines. 2 swimming pools, clay tennis courts, waterfalls, and colorful gardens round out the amenities, creating a private resort that could rival high-end country clubs. Golf legends and celebrities came to play on Rogers's private course. Michael Jordan once called it one of his favorite places to tee off, a testament to the ranch's allure. Walking the grounds, you can almost see how Rogers reshaped his own life into a kind of country resort. From a boy with a $9-a-week job in Houston to the owner of a nearly 1,000-acre retreat, he built Beaver Dam Farms as both sanctuary and stage. The mix of rustic barns and luxurious villas mirrors the duality of his career. A man equally at home singing in honky-tonks and hosting black-tie galas. It's easy to imagine the gambler on a golf cart at dawn, camera in hand, or strumming a guitar on the porch as horses graze nearby. A living embodiment of his songs about taking chances and building something lasting. If Beaver Dam Farms was Kenny Rogers' country kingdom, then his Buckhead, Atlanta mansion was the jewel of his urban crown. A refined retreat tucked behind gates in one of the city's most exclusive neighborhoods. Buckhead, Atlanta mansion. City elegance. Sitting on 1.2 acres of lush, landscaped grounds, the 6,991-square-foot residence balanced privacy with proximity to Atlanta's cultural heartbeat. It's the kind of home where a country superstar could slip into a tuxedo after a day on the golf course and head straight to a black-tie gala downtown. Visitors first encounter a gated entrance and a reserved driveway winding through manicured gardens to a slate-gray facade framed by blooming azaleas and mature trees. Even from the street, the house carries an understated grandeur, a blend of European and Mediterranean design cues with its arched windows, soft stucco textures, and ironwork balconies. Step through the 2-story entry foyer, and the tone shifts from rustic to regal. A gleaming grand piano anchors the space beneath dramatic chandeliers, hinting at evenings of impromptu performances and celebrity guests. 20-foot ceilings and marble floors add an air of opulence, while the open sightlines draw the eye toward formal entertaining rooms perfect for cocktail parties or industry meetings. The kitchen blends chef-level function with magazine-ready style. Stone counters, custom cabinetry, and top-of-the-line appliances support either intimate family meals or professional catering for large gatherings. Adjacent to the kitchen, a formal dining room easily seats 12 under ornate lighting, creating a stage for dinners that might segue into music sessions in the parlor. Rogers' master suite acts as a retreat within a retreat. A private fireplace, a sitting room bathed in natural light, and a luxurious ensuite bath with soaking tub, walk-in shower, and custom closets befitting a man with decades of stage wardrobes. The remaining 5 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms total, provide ample space for family, friends, or collaborators. Entertainment and wellness were built into the floor plan. A recreation room features a large screen for movie nights or reviewing concert footage, plus a pool table for casual competition. A private gym and a full bar add to the sense that this was not just a house, but a lifestyle hub. Outside, a heated swimming pool and spa terrace overlook the gardens, creating a serene counterpoint to city life. One can easily imagine Rogers strumming a guitar on the terrace at dusk, or working out arrangements for his next project between laps in the pool. If Beaver Dam Farms embodied Kenny Rogers' love of wide-open spaces and self-made empire, then his Buckhead mansion captured the elegance and sophistication he earned after decades of crossover success. Together, the two properties paint a portrait of a man who navigated seamlessly between rustic authenticity and metropolitan polish. And behind these gates and white fences was not only a life of comfort, but also a financial empire built over more than 50 years in music. Income and net worth. By the time Kenny Rogers passed away in March 2020, his net worth was estimated at roughly $250 million, making him one of the wealthiest crossover artists in country music history. Few entertainers have turned such a wide-ranging career, from chart-topping songs to TV movies to fried chicken franchises, into a diversified fortune. Music revenue formed the foundation. Across 165 million records sold worldwide and more than 70 albums, Rogers built an empire of royalties and publishing rights. Signature projects like The Gambler, 5 times platinum, and Kenny, 3 times platinum, became evergreen sellers, not just at the time of release, but across decades of streaming and reissues. Lifetime, his streaming, mechanical, and publishing royalties are estimated at $100 to $150 million, much of it controlled through savvy business arrangements that let him retain more rights than many of his peers. His touring power added another massive layer. Rogers didn't just play honky-tonks, he filled arenas and international stadiums. During his peak, his tours grossed up to $1 million per show, and his 50th anniversary tour cemented his reputation as a global draw. Merchandise sales, from t-shirts to collector's items branded with his image, and corporate sponsorships tied to those tours added an estimated $50 to $75 million over the course of his life. But Rogers also knew how to leverage his brand beyond music. He became a familiar face on screen with roles in Six Pack, 1982, and a string of wildly popular Gambler TV movies, which drew 100 million combined viewers at their height. Acting fees, royalties, and residuals from those projects brought in an additional $20 to $30 million and kept the Gambler persona alive for audiences who might not have bought records but tuned in for family TV nights. His business ventures rounded out the empire. Most famously, he co-founded Kenny Rogers Roasters, a chain of rotisserie chicken restaurants that at its peak had 156 locations worldwide and became a pop culture punchline on Seinfeld while earning him a serious payday. Even after he sold his stake, licensing deals and brand association continued to pay dividends. Rogers also pursued photography and production projects, including coffee table books and gallery exhibitions, which together generated an estimated $20 to $40 million in lifetime earnings and showcased his artistic side offstage. For all his success on stage and in business, Kenny Rogers built an equally powerful legacy of giving back. He often said that the true measure of a career wasn't just awards or money, but what you do with what you've been given. Nowhere was that more evident than in his lifelong commitment to children's causes and global relief. Philanthropy. At the heart of his philanthropy stood the Kenny Rogers Children's Center in Sikeston, Missouri, a facility dedicated to providing therapy and support for children with disabilities. Inspired by the stories of 5 local children who faced major health challenges, Rogers lent his name, time, and resources to help transform the center into a state-of-the-art hub for pediatric therapy. He visited patients, funded equipment, and performed benefit concerts, including a major event in June 2014, to sustain the center's work. His presence was never a mere photo op. Parents remember him crouching down to talk with kids, listening to their stories, and encouraging them to dream beyond their diagnoses. Rogers also supported MusiCares, the Grammy-affiliated charity that provides emergency financial and medical aid to musicians in crisis. True to his humility, when he passed away in March 2020, his family requested that donations be made in his memory to COVID-19 relief funds, signaling that even at the end, Rogers' brand of kindness was practical and forward-looking. Beyond the music industry, Rogers lent his voice and influence to some of the world's largest humanitarian campaigns. He performed at and promoted American Red Cross disaster relief efforts, from hurricane aid in the U.S. to global emergencies abroad. Most famously, he joined the star-studded lineup for USA for Africa's We Are the World in 1985, helping raise over $100 million to fight famine in Africa. His gravelly baritone on that record is still instantly recognizable, a symbol of artists uniting for a higher cause. Rogers' charitable reach extended even further. He contributed to the Muhammad Ali Parkinson Center, United Way, the American Cancer Society, the Salvation Army, and the Celebrity Fight Night Foundation, among others. In each case, his support ranged from personal donations to public appearances, using his celebrity power to drive media attention and fundraising momentum. By 2015, he participated in the Small Steps Project Celebrity Shoe Auction, which collects the shoes of high-profile figures to fund education and medical care for children living on garbage dumps in developing countries. Rogers donated a pair of his iconic cowboy boots, which fetched thousands of dollars to support kids far from the bright lights of Nashville or Las Vegas. Even in his later years, he found creative ways to funnel proceeds back into youth support and community projects. For example, auctioning signed guitars to help fund Nashville Park programs and music education grants. These efforts exemplified Rogers' philosophy of using fame for high-profile giving, turning the trappings of stardom into practical tools for change. It's a portrait of a man who built not only a musical empire but also a humanitarian one. And behind the celebrity and the philanthropy was a complicated, colorful personal life. His first marriage was to Janice Gordon in 1958, and together they had one daughter, Carol Lynn. The marriage lasted only 2 years but marked the start of Rogers' family life just as his career was beginning. In 1960, he married Jean Rogers, a short-lived union that ended in 1963. His third marriage, to Margot Anderson from 1963 to 1975, produced another child and spanned some of the most intense years of his early solo career. In 1977, as Lucille was topping charts worldwide, Rogers married Marianne Gordon, an actress best known for her appearances on Hee Haw and in several films. This marriage, which lasted until 1993, brought his son Christopher Cody Rogers, who would go on to dabble in acting and producing. His fifth and final marriage was to Wanda Miller, whom he wed in 1997. Wanda, a Georgia native 28 years his junior, would become the love of his later life. The couple were married for 22 years, defying critics and gossip, and had twin sons, Justin and Jordan, born in 2004. Rogers often said Wanda saved him from the relentless pace of touring, giving him a home base in Sandy Springs, Georgia, and a second chance at fatherhood. In his later years, Rogers described his greatest joy as being able to watch my boys grow up, and frequently shared photos of family moments rather than stage lights. He slowed down his touring schedule after 2015 and officially retired in 2017, citing not just health concerns, but also the desire to spend more time with Wanda and the twins. Health and death. By the mid-2000s, the tireless pace that had defined Kenny Rogers' career began to catch up with him. After decades of touring, filming, recording, and running businesses, his health steadily declined. In 2017, he publicly announced his retirement from touring, explaining that it wasn't just age, but a desire to spend more time with his family that prompted the decision. Quietly, he battled a series of ailments, including complications linked to bladder cancer, and by 2019, he was receiving hospice care at his home in Sandy Springs, Georgia. True to form, Rogers remained dignified and private during his final years. Even as his condition worsened, he was surrounded by Wanda and their twin boys, Justin and Jordan, who had become the center of his world. Family photos show a softer Kenny. No tuxedo, no spotlight, just a father on the porch with his camera, looking out at the Georgia pines. On March 20th, 2020, at the age of 81, Kenny Rogers passed away peacefully at home, encircled by loved ones. His death came at the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, which meant memorial services were necessarily small and public tributes delayed. In a statement, his family requested privacy and suggested donations to MusiCare's COVID-19 relief fund in lieu of flowers, reflecting Rogers' lifelong commitment to helping fellow musicians in need. Despite the quiet farewell, the outpouring of grief and admiration was immediate and global. Social media filled with tributes from fans and fellow artists alike. Dolly Parton, his longtime duet partner and friend, released an emotional video, holding back tears as she said, "I loved Kenny with all my heart. My heart's broken." Lionel Richie, who had written Lady for Rogers, called him one of the kindest and most generous spirits he had ever known. Countless others echoed those sentiments, posting old concert footage, personal anecdotes, and stories of kindness off stage. It felt like the end of an era. The gambler had, as the song goes, known when to hold 'em and when to fold 'em, leaving the stage with grace, on his own terms. His final hand was played not under stage lights, but at home, surrounded by the family he had built and the legacy he had crafted. Thank you for joining us inside Beaver Dam Farms, Kenny Rogers' country paradise and final chapter. We're honored to share not just his homes, but his heart, his music, and his legacy. Don't forget to hit subscribe and tap the bell so you're the first to see our next deep dive into another icon's world.